Hello, Zetro. So I was on Facebook, and all of a sudden I saw that you had started this new band, Patriot. So what made you want to start the new band?
We've been doing it. I've been doing it for about a year. Actually, Costa and I started this about a year ago when I saw him play and kind of picked his brains and kind of saw his songs and his arrangements. It was really like, I really didn't want to start another band. I'm a little bit older than that, and I've been down this lane, so I kind of didn't want to do it like that, but it just worked out that way. Him and I wrote and recorded a song. It's actually the song that went up today called The Fear Within, and then everybody liked it. People that I trust, guys around me, Exodus guys, Testament guys, producers that I trust, and thought it was killer. So we basically took a year getting the members together and just kind of writing a couple other songs and just kind of getting a feel of each other before we went out worldwide with it. So it was about the right time. Took time to get the logo, do the photos, So a couple of weeks ago, that's why I did that. I just kind of out of nowhere, I just threw the website up, see what kind of response I was going to get.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was really excited because I was a huge Exodus Tembo fan, and I also was a big fan of Tenet, so I was a little over the moon.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad you like that. Well, this is going to be a continuance to what I did with basically with Exodus and Testament Legacy back in the day.
Yeah, I noticed the tone, the overall sound and the guitar tone is really similar to Tembo.
They're big Gary and Rick fans, Drew and Costa, which makes it kind of easy for me because for the fans that like what I did are pretty much like if I'm going to do an original project in thrash metal, that's what they like, you know what I mean? So yeah. I think that they're really tuned in with the Gary and Rick type thing. They're saying Costa and Drew are both very, very well-schooled guitar players as far as it comes. Even Alex, our drummer, he's just an amazing, well-schooled player. So they're all really smart, and they get it. And they know what I did in the past, and they know what sounds really good. So they work really well together. So I'm really excited for this project, for everybody.
So did the members that joined Patriot, are they from any other bands that people would know about?
No, really, they're not. They're all unknown, every single one of them. They all played in, maybe local bands, but nothing you guys have ever heard of, nothing the press has ever heard of, The bass player's my son, my 20-year-old, so he'll be 21 here in a couple months. Great bass player. And then the rest of the guys, Alex is the youngest, Alex is 18, and then Costa and Drew are both 22. So, but both very, all of them well-schooled on thrash and metal and knowledge and what sounds right and what's overly done and what sounds cool, and what's not, and what I did and what Gary and Rick would do. I don't know, Drew thinks like that, Drew's very into Gary and Rick, so to work with me, he's like, man, it's like my two favorite bands are AC/DC and Exodus, and I'm working with Zetro, so it's kind of cool. So it's kind of exciting to have guys that are like that in the band that are big fans as well.
That's exciting. I was actually going to ask you, I had heard, or I'd read on the internet somewhere that your son was going to be playing bass. So that's really awesome.
Well, it's like he had to try out, you know what I mean? It's basically the band is just the four of us, and Costa had played the bass, and my nephew had tried it, and he wasn't really into it as much as I thought he could be. And then another couple guys tried it, and they weren't as good of it. And my son's really good, but my son has a really, really good job and a really demanding career, and I want him to go to school and do all that kind of things. And I can do it. I can do both. I swear I can. So we gave him the tryout, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to say shit. If these guys like you and they dig you and you can hang, then, you get the gig. And so he went to a couple of rehearsals and played with them, and they were like, yeah, he's really, really good. And I go, okay, well, for now, that's the story. So he's real excited to do it, too. It creates that other element. He's a second generation of thrash, being able to play with his pop. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's freaking killer. So the name Patriot comes from Star Spangled Banner. Why did you pick that name?
I think the name kind of identifies with Exodus. I like the name Patriot. Actually, people are like, what did you do to the American flag? It's not the American flag. It's the Patriot flag. We're for the people. We're for what the people would want if they had to be soldiers to fight for the country, not what the government and what the machine wants us to do. They fly this pretty flag with these nice stars in it. Well, that's great, but that's not really how they represent it. Turn it upside down and put some damn pentagrams down it. One nation under God, they're so full of shit, you know what I mean? So basically a Patriot is against all the hypocrisy. You know who Pat Tillman is, of course, right? You know who Pat Tillman is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I remember
he went over
that.
as a Patriot. He came back as a Patriot. Unfortunately, that so explains why we are Patriots. You know what I mean? That's what we are, so.
I know, especially, like, just reading the news today, I was angry, like, 50 separate times at 50 separate things, so. Exactly,
and it's all because the machine tells you so. You know what I mean? You're paying $5 a gallon because the machine tells you you have to. You know what I mean? We're not that. That wasn't what the Patriots were about. That's why we're not Patriots anymore. We're Patriots.
So with your son being in school and all the guys in the band being primarily younger, what are your plans, like tour, like?
See, we haven't even searched for a record deal yet, and I'm sure that's going to come in time. I've talked to a lawyer and management, getting that all together now, and just taking our time getting together. But for sure, these guys better be ready to get on the road. I hope by next summer. Within 8 months' time from now, we're recording an album, and by next summer, or spring, you've got a new Patriot record and a full world tour, you know, so that's what I'm shooting for. Everything with all the rest of my bands, I've pretty much done that, so I don't see why that's not going to be possible here, so we've just got to stay in the studio and keep writing songs, really good songs that people like. Go to the website, the new song's up there, The Fear Within, which is actually, to me, the best one.
What are, like, I know you posted the first song, like, Class Destruction. So what are your main, like, lyrical inspirations behind Patriot?
What have I written about in the past? Beautiful, lovely violence.
Friendly, violent fun?
Yeah, all violence. It's all violence. Whatever got to do with violence. Actually, The Fear Within, I wrote about Dexter. And then the next song called Mechanics of Annihilation was about a fight I got into. And then I have another one that's will be the last one we put on, called Globicidal. It's about all the people that go into markets and blow themselves up and blow other people up.
Hey, I don't expect anything less from you after however many years I've been listening to Exodus. I missed the Bailoff generation, so.
And playing metal, exactly, and thrash metal, what do you expect? Can't back off now. No whipping out now.
Definitely not. So I have one more question, and it's purely for my own curiosity. But you have a totally unique voice. It's different than any other person in thrash that I've ever heard. So how did you realize, or what led to you becoming a thrash singer?
What led to me being a thrash singer, I would think when I met Derek, Eric, and Louie, they were playing this kind of 2-bit beat that I'd never heard of before. And I was like, wow, what's that? It's like metal, but kind of like punk. When I went to structure my sound, I was listening to a lot of Accept. So what I did was I just kind of structured my voice after my hero, which was Bon Scott, even though the music was way more intense than AC/DC. Restless and Wild era Udo, you know what I mean? Breaker.
Yeah.
Udo, real screamy like that. And I just kind of stapled my sound after that and then worked on it from there. After working on it, for crafting it for 30 years, it's funny, in the studio, when I go in the studio, different producers have different names for the different voices I do. Like when I was working with Andy Sneap on Temple of the Damned, he was like, do that little Bon Scott, little squeal voice. Say, oh, no, give me that Billy Gibbons thing that you do. It's like he had a name for every one little one that I do. Kind of funny. So.
Awesome. Do you have anything else that you want to tell the world about Patriot, or anything else that you've been up to?
No, I guess just be ready. Well, I know the world knows I do an AC/DC tribute called AC/DZ. And also me and Chuck Billy are finishing the lyrics and the songs on the new Dublin Death Patrol album, which will be out in like a month or two.
Will there ever be another Tennant album, or was that like a one-time deal?
No, I mean, that's up to Jed Simon. Jed Simon wrote all the music for that album. I was just a player on it. That was the first album I'd never, ever written something on that I'd sung.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, young lady. You have a great night.
Thank you.